Penguin Random House Audio presents The CEO Next Door: What It Takes to Get to the Top and Succeed by Elena L. Botelho and Kim R. Powell with Tal Raz. Read for you by Bernadette Dunne. Section 1. Get Strong. Master the CEO Genome Behaviors. Decide, engage for impact, relentless reliability, adapt boldly. Chapter 1. Unlocking the Secrets of the CEO Genome. You had the power all along, my dear. L. Frank Baum, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. You will never be a CEO. That's the message most of us internalize from an early age. You may be extremely competent, work harder than anyone else, do everything right, but you are told that if you don't look the part, don't have the right institutional names on your resume, don't possess the right pedigree, your chances of reaching the top are slim. And so we assume that being a CEO just isn't in the cards for regular people like us. The world is changing faster than ever, but the narrative of leadership remains dominated by talk of such larger-than-life visionary prophets as Steve Jobs and such executive warriors as Jack Welch. This iconic CEO is powerful and patrician, a bold, charismatic extrovert with a flawless resume, an oracle of business judgment who jets around the globe from Davos to Detroit with superhuman confidence, a brilliant strategist who shapes the reality in his path. It's a story we, the public, have been absorbing for decades. No wonder we assume that we are not CEO material. We know that this stereotypical character is nothing like us. But then there's Don Slager. When we first met Don in 2005, he didn't see himself as CEO material either. Walking into the meeting with our team, Don stretched out the large hand of a laborer. Towering over 6 feet tall, with the frame of an offensive lineman, Don looked formidable, yet his handshake was surprisingly tentative. Don confided to us that he was uncertain he was cut out for the CEO job. He enjoyed his COO role and didn't see himself as a CEO. He questioned whether he was a worthy candidate and didn't think he would seriously be considered for the opportunity to be CEO. Don is not what one thinks of when one thinks of a CEO. He grew up in a blue-collar community a short distance from Chicago and the Gary Works steel mills in Lansing, Illinois. He was surrounded by welders, truck drivers, and steel mill workers, not college graduates. For Don, at the time, there was no CEO next door. He went to vocational high school with aspirations to become a builder, but graduated into a bum market for construction. Instead, he started his career driving a garbage truck. For the better part of 6 years, he punched in at 2:45 a.m., started driving at 3 a.m., and endured the thankless monotony of his route for 10 to 12 hours a shift. At the end of each week, he collected his paycheck and prepared himself to start the routine again. But here's the strange thing. Don is, in fact, a CEO. Don is a great CEO. Under his leadership, stock of Republic Services, a Fortune 500 powerhouse in the waste services industry, generating over $9 billion in annual revenue, outperformed S&P average returns between 2012 and 2016. In 2015, Republic Services outperformed the S&P by 8 times. Since Don took the top job, Republic Services' market cap has nearly doubled, from $11.5 billion to $22 billion as of mid-year 2017. Based on anonymous and voluntary reviews by Republic Services employees, Don was recognized with the Glassdoor Employees' Choice Award and named to Glassdoor's 2017 highest-rated CEO list. Don didn't learn about leadership at Harvard Business School. He didn't even graduate from college. The foundation for his leadership success was built on the sturdy platform of his blue-collar beginnings and his 6 years of driving garbage trucks around Des Moines, Iowa, and Chicago, Illinois. Don's leadership behaviors and choices, not his pedigree, propelled him to the top of the waste services industry. Don's father, whose motto was "show up every day," had always given his son a long leash as long as his grades were good and his chores completed, planting the seeds for unwavering reliability, a key attribute of successful CEOs. Don's reputation for always giving 110% attracted the notice of powerful mentors who pushed him to aim higher. Long hours that ended only when the trash bins were empty gave him the stamina not only to survive, but to emerge as a leader during the dark days of restructuring at his company, when many others quit or were let go. More important, his roots gave him the authority to evolve the business in ways that the front line would have rejected, coming from a more typical white-collar executive. When Dunne became CEO of Republic Services, he had held almost every position in the company and had worked as the COO alongside 4 very different CEOs. In 2005, Dunne wasn't sure he deserved or wanted to be a CEO. There were some things about the CEO role that he found off-putting, such as the need to cater to Wall Street. So when he finally said yes, it was for one simple reason. His vision for how to make Republic Services America's preferred choice required him to be able to do what only a CEO can: set the strategy and build the team and culture that would take the company there. And so it is that a garbage man without a degree becomes a CEO who is recognized by employees and competitors as one of the most passionate, respected, and effective leaders. Don's journey from the garbage truck to the corner suite may sound unusual, but it is not an anomaly. There are countless like him who came from unlikely backgrounds. CEOs such as Aetna's Mark Bertolini or Lear's Matt Simoncini. Seemingly ordinary people achieving extraordinary success. The CEOs next door. How do we know? We know because between the two of us, we have coached, advised, and vetted over 300 CEOs. We are leadership advisors at a firm called GH Smart. Leading boards, outgoing CEOs, and investors count on our objective counsel to help them select the right CEO candidates, prepare them for the role, and coach them to perform at full potential. We deploy a rigorous, analytical approach to first help our clients define what future business success looks like and the leadership profile it requires, and after that we assess candidates to help predict how they would perform if hired. We conduct extensive 5-hour interviews to identify candidates' skills, accomplishments, mistakes, motivations, and mindsets. We ask questions in a precisely defined sequence that cuts through a clever executive's artful spin. We hear the unvarnished truth of their greatest victories, their painful blow-ups, their challenges, and their regrets. Our robust technique for data collection and analysis provides a Moneyball for leadership solution that helps clients avoid the pervasive errors of gut feel that plague so many failed hiring decisions. Our clients' independent analysis shows that our approach is accurate at least 90% of the time, compared to a 50% error rate in a conventional interview process. Since 1995, our team has advised and assessed over 17,000 C-suite executives, including over 2,000 CEOs and CEO candidates. Unlike a board member or a search firm, we analyze CEOs with a fully objective perspective, not invested in any particular outcome. When our analysis of a leader's capabilities indicates a fit with a CEO or leadership position in a company, we recommend her or him, whatever her or his pedigree, much as we did with Dunne. When you encounter as many exceptional but seemingly unconventional CEOs like Don Slager as we have, you begin to question convention. If many of these CEOs had bought into the existing stereotypes of leadership, they might never have attempted to win even the first promotion. Looking at Don's success today, nobody would guess that 12 years ago he questioned whether he belonged at the top. You guys did my assessment and told me that I was a walking talk.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?